the ball after the very first win from the base of the scrum. They've got to change a few things. Wakefield, of course, I'm not so sure that John Keir, their coach, would be too happy with the fact that he's only got a 2-point advantage. And let's face it, we know that there's two out there that they can't utilise as a substitute, so that interchange will be very difficult for John Keir in this second half. But also, you've got to say that all the hard work in defence that the Quins did in the final 20 minutes of that first stanza, will it take the petrol out of the tank? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, 7 new faces at Bellevue this year, including the former London Bronco Tony Martin. 11 men shown the door. Here's one of the new faces, Scott Griggs, the fullback. As far as harlequins are concerned, no great turnover in personnel this year, which is slightly unusual for them. The only brand new face, David Howell, from the Canberra Raiders in St George Illawarra in the NRL. And of course, Danny Ward.
He's done well, young ops, since he came off the substitutes bench. He's a lot of bloody, shall we say, blood and fire into the Wakefield side, but they've got to start getting the moving the ball a lot quicker.
One other new face for Harlequins, of course, Gareth Haggerty from relegated Salford, the Irish international, on the bench tonight. But he is out there on the field, wearing 16. It's Harlequins in possession here. And Ricky Sherif, tackled by McGilvray.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the Quins just take it nice and steady, get into a good field position, something that they failed to do in the first half.
Rinaldi to Scott Hill, Howell, and Wells, a forward pass.
Mile forward there. David Howell knew it, putting a lot of pressure. Side camera, picked it out very well indeed.
He's 24 years of age, and he made his NRL debut 5 years ago. Let's get down to Bill.
It's bad news for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Brad Drew with that hand injury, and it sounds as though Jason Dimitriou has a fracture, possible fracture in the right ankle, and that is grim news for them. And there is another problem for them, because Danny Sculthorpe is struggling out there. The word is it's a knee problem. He's not unfamiliar with that. He's staying out there, but he's not moving his normal smooth self.
That's a great ball from him though, round the corner to Rooney. Has Rooney got the pace? Rooney has the pace, but he is hauled down by McClendon. That's a try-saving tackle. This is Brett Ferris, and Brett Ferris gets over the line, and Ian Smith will give this. What a ball from Danny Sculthorpe, though, as Bill was talking about him, not moving terribly well, but a fantastic ball around the corner from Sculthorpe. Rooney thought he was over. Ferris eventually made it. It's come at a cost for Ferris. He's hurt, but Wakefield, what a pass that was from Sculthorpe.
Just shows you the quality of the big prop forward. Rooney knew exactly what he was going to do. He just nearly panicked, nearly went for the second movement. But that's great power. That's good work from Ferris. But the break was sufficient. Watch the skill of this man. Just as he's falling. Tremendous rugby league football. That is of the highest quality. Full credit to Mark McClendon. He got there in the first instant, but he couldn't prevent Ferris from getting over.
Good try from Brett Ferris. Played in all Super League matches last year except the final round against Leeds. 695 tackles for Ferris last year, topping the Wildcats charts. That's an important try, and that's an important conversion. It stretches the lead to 8 points. Harlequins 10, Wakefield 8. But no wonder Danny Sculthorpe describes himself as an old-fashioned prop forward. That was a wonderful piece of skill.
Very much so, Eddie. And I mentioned at half-time that they had to play the ball a little bit closer and not going for those big shift plays and wide pass plays. I thought what was important before that one from Sculthorpe was actually to play the ball before. McGilvray took a massive hit up, just played the ball, and Sculthorpe doubled it up going forward. So all of a sudden, instead of spraying the ball around, they just played with a bit of power, and the opening came to them. in the first half they went looking for those openings and they weren't coming because you've got to earn the right to have them, and this time they've gone out and earned it. Dangerous signs for Harlequins, and maybe the injuries have forced the game plan change will work effectively now for Wakefield.
A ball has come free, and the referee said it went backwards from Kevin Henderson's grasp. It's a contentious call from Ian Smith. This is Danny Brough. Now it's with Richard Moore. Gets the ball away. Brough picks it up on the half volley. Can't get through though. The defence is there. Purdom and Danny Orr with the tackle. Obst, and here's McGilvray on the charge.
Oh, great stuff. That's how to run into the football. And quick thinking from Danny Brough.
Last tackle, down the line he goes, and he finds touch just the right side of the corner flag. Great kick from Danny Brough. Of course, he was at Hull, wasn't he, with John Keir in 2005. And almost like the prodigal son coming home as far as John Keir is concerned when he signed this fella from Castleford. Got Castleford out of the National League last year.
He's quality, Eddie. And he's got a fantastic brain.
Not so sure about his hairdresser, though. I mean, the colour on the back of the head then.
Leave it. No, he's been very industrious as Danny Brough, and that kick into the corner, it just shows you when you got an 8-point, you just play to position and possession. Harlequins, of course, they made so many errors late in that first half. They were the worst enemy, and then they did it again with a forward pass when it really should have been a kick downfield.
They have a major problem as well in the fact that Danny Orr now is going to leave the field for the Harlequins. One of the key playmakers receive the Man of the Match award.
Yes, in memory of the great Mike Gregory this year. The prize is that Steve-O's Man of the Match will receive, plus a bottle of bubbly to share with his colleagues. And it's in association with the title sponsors of the Engage Super League. Rinaldi under pressure from Moore. The kick evades Scott Griggs and evades everybody, runs dead in goal. Julian Rinaldi with the kick.
They've got to sort themselves out, the Quins, and they know it. They're trying to pass this ball, coming up with so many errors. And you just get the feeling that Wakefield are utilising their big forwards. McGilvray is eager to take it up, put them in a good position. It's always good to build up. Then they've got the ability with Danny Brough organising things out there.
Different start to the season compared to last year for both these sides. Harlequins unbeaten in the first 3 of 2007, but then they fell from grace a bit. They were playoff contenders for a wee while, well, a long time actually, but just one win from the last 8. They finished 9th. And Wakefield, they won 5 of their first 7 last year, and they lost the last 4 and 6 of the last 8 to really drop down the table as well. They were knocking on the door of the playoffs, these two, for long periods in 2007. Any signs tonight, gentlemen, that they might be doing same again in 2008?
I think it's a bit early to tell that. Wakefield, I thought in the first game when they beat Bradford at the Bellevue ground, I thought then they showed signs that perhaps they were a team who could make it into the top 6. But I've not been convinced by their defensive efforts here so far tonight to make me think that they can be a top half table at the end of the year. Still a very long way to go, Eddie, yet.
Oh, absolutely, long way to go. Rinaldi, Scott Hill, over the top to Henry Paul. Henry Paul will run at them, gives the ball back to Hill. Hill looking to prize the opening. But so far, the defence has been fairly solid from the Wildcats. Rinaldi. Here is Chad Randall. Good run from Randall, gets the ball away. It's the turnover.
Again, trying to force the pass when all they need is a good kick into the corner. They have not applied any pressure to this Wakefield outfit for the last 30 minutes of the game.
This is where this interchange thing won't affect Wakefield if Quins continue to not put them under the ball game pressure. You know, I thought to myself in the last attacking set where it went McGilvray, big hit up, Moore, big hit up, this by Watine, big hit up, followed by Sculthorpe, big hit up. I thought that's good, but this is going to tire these blokes at the end of the game if they have to keep doing offense and defense. The interchange will make an effect, but if Harlequins keep not putting them under pressure, it won't. It'll play right into Wakefield's hands.
Oliver Wilkes gets to his feet into the 4th tackle, plays the ball. The boot from Rooney to the corner. Nice little measured kick again from Jamie Rooney.
It's all they need. We saw the stat come up shortly. You know, Wakefield are having 60% of the possession, and if this continues on throughout the second half, they'll finish up taking the spoils. It's good thinking there by Jamie Rooney. The combination, Jamie Rooney and Danny Brough, especially when the kicks, when it comes to the last one, doing exactly what their coach wanted. You can't say the same about the Quins.
Harlequins with head and feet at the scrum. And this is David Howell. And, Tony Ray has been looking across the Wakefield line, and it would appear that Wakefield's problems are being compounded here because Tony Martin, there he is, he's off and his hamstring is being iced, so this 8-point advantage that they've built over 51 minutes or so is coming at a rare old cost. You know, there have been some serious injuries already. We're in the third week of the campaign, and we said, Steve, before this season even began 4 weeks ago, that all the coaches will hope that their troops stay fit right the way through the campaign, but it's not so at the moment for a number of them.
No, it's very difficult for them, and that's the first time really that they've settled down at the Quins. Good kick and chase, that's what they need. In fact, Tony Martin, midway through that first half, he sort of just pulled it slightly, and it was a big gamble for him to stay out on the field of play.
Eddie, you know that you won't get through a season with all of your players avoiding injury. That's just never ever happens. You need 25 players as a minimum, and when they come into the game and play, as we saw with perhaps a Paul Clough and Bryn Hargreaves and Gareth Futcham, you know, you need to hope that they can step up and do what the regular first teamers do.
Ball's lost there by Wakefield. Good work from Harlequins. Here they come now on the charge with Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, and the volume goes up on the terraces. The Harlequins fans here sensing something as Randall fires the ball out to Purdon, and he is handed down by this Wakefield defence. Adam Watteen leading the way.
Well, the Quins will be looking towards the sidestepping of McClendon, surely.
This is Danny Ward, though. That's 3 tackles gone. And Rinaldi and Randall. 4 tackles gone. They're a metre short of the line. Rinaldi again. Back it comes to Scotty Hill. Hill then finds McClendon. McClendon gives it width. This is Howell again. And David Howell gets over, but did he drop that? No, it's a forward pass.
But did he get it down? I think you're right. I think he may have dropped it.
Well, that was the one that was ruled forward. It doesn't matter whether he dropped it over the line or not, David Howell.
Well, this is the one. We'll see from that one. Well, that looks all right.
Well, that's the one that was ruled out for a forward.
Bit of momentum there.
Must have been the call from the touch judge. I think that's a harsh one.
But the signs were there for Harlequins, Eddie. You know, they stayed down for the first time. They put some pressure on, and that left-hand side of the field was open. Oh, look at this panicking from Wakefield. Wakefield are just gifting the game. Look at that.
They could easily have done it, Chad Randall. They could easily have gifted this try to Chad Randall of Harlequins. This is suicide. The referee Ian Smith is asking Ben Thaler to look at it again.
It is a gift. They certainly offloaded. Well, it was the Quins that wanted to commit suicide. They've got possession. Why do you want to do that? Was it a knock-on?
What was Kevin Henderson thinking?
Well, did Henry Paul get a fingertip to this? Henderson should have held on to it. Did Paul get a hand to this? No. I think the Wakefield player gets a fingertip to it, and this will be given. Randall's try will stand.
Oliver Wilkes did all he could to try and get this ball dead, but don't think he's managed it.
There you see, Paul has missed it. He's just about to go for it, and Wilkes' hand reefs it away. This will stand.
Eddie, you know the referee's done Harlequins a favour by disallowing that try a minute ago. He's just made the goal kick far easier for Rob Purdom here now. And an important kick it will be here. They're going to get 6 points rather than just a 4 out wide.
Well, Wakefield in that instance have committed Harry-Carry, because this surely is a try for Chad Randall.
On screen,
Ben Thaler's decision is a four-pointer for the Quins, right under the sticks. So the kick from Henry Paul is from Rob Purdon, beg your pardon, is almost academic.
This is the one that they were disallowed. Forward pass, touch judge interfered. Told the official, no try. Why on earth did Henderson try to offload there? Sheer panic, we've seen so much of that. Randall sneaks one. Suicidal, not needed. You're in charge of the game, your forwards are playing very strongly indeed, and it has opened the door for the London outfit.
Delight for the try scorer, delight for the captain, because they're now back within 2 again. Chad Randall with the try. We talk in Super League every week about turning points in matches. It's usually do or die tackles on your own line. That could be the turning point here tonight, because that was just plain suicide by Kevin Henderson for his team.
Yeah, very much so. It sent out all the wrong signals. What has to happen here is the Quins have to get to the kick on this set. For the rig advantage that we think that they have now, with the pressure, with the questions going through the Wakefield head, Harlequins must keep it simple, get down there, get to a good kick.
That's good defence, though, from Wakefield. They've taken that body blow, and they've put 2 good tackles in. Good chase from the kick-off, and 2 good tackles. That's 3 good tackles. Henderson knows his team now. Rinaldi. And Paul to McClendon. Goes wide. Good feet, but the Wakefield defenders in there quickly. McClendon again. Here's Purdon.
Good work on that short blind. There's Dimitru.
And Martin. It's emergency ward 10 down there, isn't it? It's emergency room, all right. That's a knock-on. That's a knock-on by... Oh, the referee has not given that. He was facing his own line. That's why he's probably got away with it, but I think the ball goes forward.
Yeah, he does. He's got that wrong. A lot of people think that just because you're facing your own line, it can't be a knock-on. It can, but it was waved away there by Ian Smith. That could just be a turning point for the Wildcats. Oh, he's lost it.
It's a penalty, stolen, says Ian Smith. 2 big calls there have gone in Wakefield's favour.
Well, they needed them. They're in a little bit of trouble, aren't they? They've lost some leaders, and they're lacking some direction on the field at the moment. Rough, good kick now to the touchline. Just gives them an opportunity.
Does Ward get an arm in there? Yes, according to the official.
An opportunity then for Wakefield to strike back.
And it's a seesaw game.
It is. Obst waits. Brough for Wakefield. Gets it to Oliver Wilkes. Big hit. Great hit. Henry Paul. And there was a little help from Carl Tamata in that last tackle as well. Rinaldi standing his ground with Henry Paul again. Rooney. Here is Henderson. What he would give for a try at the other end for him. This time he hangs on to the possession under the pressure from Howell. Rooney again. Rooney misses out one. It finds itself on the bounce to Danny Brough. Brough is surrounded. That's the last one. Obst has McGilvray on his shoulder. Can't get the ball away. That's going to be the turnover.
That is poor play by Wakefield. He'll be furious, John Keir. He looks calm and collected, but inside, he'll know they've got the wrong option there. It should have been someone screaming for that football and said, hey, come on, I'll kick that into the in-goal area. Try to get the second set of 6.
Let's go down to the casualty room, Bill.
Eddie, if Wakefield get away from this with the points, then it will be a remarkable performance. There's one fit man standing on the sidelines at the moment, Phil, and that's Danny Sculthorpe. Otherwise, we've got Brad Drew, Jason Dimitru and Tony Martin, who are all ruled out for the rest of the game. So Danny Sculthorpe, and I'm not sure that he's 100% fit. He was seemed to be rubbing his knee a short time ago. But for Drew and Dimitru, the news is they're going to need x-rays on broken bones.
Well, here comes Luke George for Wakefield. And John Keir's got big raps on this fellow. McClendon stops him then. This is Rooney. Rooney gives it to Atkins. Atkins still going. Oh, the ball again out the back door. And Harlequins have it back.
Sheer panic. Good, solid work. You know, when they got the ball, they got the spin through. It was good running from Luke George, and then Jamie Rooney went right into it. They were in a wonderful position.
This is turning into a great game, Eddie. We've seen some mistakes and errors, and maybe teams are offloading the ball too much, but it's adding up to a tremendous excitement for the final quarter here.
It is, and you just wonder how much do Wakefield have in the tank with the 3 players off the field and not going to come back tonight. This is Rob Purdon for Quins.
Eddie, the team that's missing the tackle and giving up the offloads is Harlequins. We're now looking at this last 15 of the first half. Harlequins' defence is weakened. Wakefield look comfortable. This is an important 10-minute period for Wakefield. As you can see, they're still pushing hard in defence. They're showing up in numbers. Harlequins are under pressure here.
John Wells, a former Wakefield man, of course, had the worst year of his life at Wakefield. He will tell you that himself. Not a great try return. That's got snow on it. Luke George has dropped it. And there's a try here for Ricky Sharif. Luke George has spilled the ball. And Brian McDermott, I think he knows his men might have played the get-out-of-jail-free card.
It was a wonderful,
towering kick.
Certainly was. Scott Hill got a good swing. It went higher than the floodlights. They're all onside. They'll then go to see whether there was a hand touched. Was a hand in there after this? That's the knock on, so that certainly will give them possession. Did a hand get to it? No, this will be given. The winger, Ricky Sharif, said, "It is mine," and that is TRY time. Against the run of play, but it doesn't matter, you take your chances. He made an awful mess of it, did the winger Luke George. They're just trying to confirm. Ben Thaler, the video referee. Everyone is onside as soon as he touches it. Randall doesn't get anywhere near it. There's a guy called Sharif does. He doesn't knock it on. It's try time. And it's despondent look on the faces of the Wakefield players. They can't believe it.
Ricky Sharif with his first try of the year. And Luke George, well, it wasn't the best attempt, but it was a fabulous kick from Scott Hill.
Certainly was. And have you noticed that Scott Hill was put under no pressure whatsoever? And that shows that it's a very tired side in the red, white and blue of the Wakefield outfit. Not the best effort. Mr. George won't want to watch that time and time again. He will.
Ricky Sharif with the try. 13th consecutive appearance. He hasn't missed a match since he's come back to this club. And Purdon will add the extras. And suddenly balance of power switches Harlequins' way.
Eddie, I don't usually think in a game of rugby league there's much need for a captain to make a speech, but I felt in that incident, in that 60 seconds we were waiting for the decision, that Wakefield needed to get themselves into a tight huddle and somebody needed to take ownership of their problems. They needed some leadership and direction because they need to get back into this game as a contest quickly. The scoreboard isn't a problem to them at present, but the way they've been playing in the last 5 to 10 minutes clearly is.
Well, the skipper is off the field in Dimitriou, and Brad Drew, one of the senior members, is also off the field. And here they've now conceded a penalty on the first tackle immediately after the kick-off.
Oh, that is a sin from the big fellow, what team. Spins him around and then goes out for it. Second it'll go at him. Still thought was helping. Well, they'll be a fired up London outfit now. Surely Brian McDermott will feel confident, providing they can still just keep control of this football.
Well, with 3 injured players not coming back for Wakefield,
it's a tough call.
There's another penalty here. You fear for Wakefield, I'm afraid, in the last 20 minutes. And you fear for John Keir's team.
Well, he knows that he hasn't got many options left. And they are looking tired. You saw that when there was no pressure applied to the standoff Scott Hill. He had all the time in the world to get that huge bomb away.
Still, you know, when a team is sometimes reduced to 12 man and have one of their teammates sent off, you can find some extra energy. Maybe Wakefield need to approach this problem in that manner here now. The backs are against the walls is obvious. but they can lift here now and find that extra 10% that you have in there.
Here's Henry Paul again. 3 tackles gone, they're 9 metres away from the line. The Quins with Rinaldi. A little run from Julian Rinaldi. Takes him over the line, but Wakefield muscle up and push him back.
Scott Hill's got him on the left if he can get the ball.
They're going the other way, and Henry Paul goes in for the latest Harlequins try. And the Wakefield effort is collapsing like a pack of cards.
We knew it was going to be a problem for them, but it took a little bit of luck.
Henry Paul, of course, the man who began his career all those years ago at Wakefield.
There's a penalty. Definitely interference by Dennis Sculthorpe there on Purdom. And the man that's been around a while, changed codes, came back. He's a hero. Ducks underneath the playing arm of Dennis Sculthorpe. He has made a big impact to this club.
But his career began at Wakefield in 1993. He might retire at the end of the year, but Brian McDermott hopes not. He's starting to enjoy himself now.
He's had a fine game as well. He's been involved with a lot with ball in hand and in his defensive quality.
Purdom adds the extras. 28-18 in Harlequins' favour. But what a cruel, cruel sport this is. 3 players will not play any further part for Wakefield, and Harlequins have taken the game by the scruff of the neck.
And against all the odds, when Sculthorpe sent that beautiful pass to Rooney, resulted in Ferris's try, Wakefield went to an 8-point lead at 18-10. You just thought maybe they could hang on.
Hey, there's still some fighting spirit. They've gone for a short kick-off, it hasn't come off. But they're showing they're thinking the right way, a 10-point deficit. 2 scores get them back in the game, but they need to get the hands on the ball.
And the big problem for Wakefield is Harlequins have just scored 18 points in the last 10 minutes, and you get the feeling that the petrol is starting to run out in the Wakefield jerseys.
Yeah, very much so, and I think those 18 points came when this bloke came back onto the field, Danny Ward. He's been a big signing for Brian McDermott. He's really powered this forward, simplified the game. We've seen Harlequins get to kick, start completing their sets, and the pressure's gone against Wakefield.
I agree with you, Tony, because I thought that Danny Ward, especially in the first 20 minutes of this game, he certainly made an impact.
Here's another high kick from Scott Hill. This time it is claimed by Sean Gleeson. No progress made forward, though. Temata saw to that, and Harlequins now, they are running like it's the opening 10 minutes of the match, not the last quarter hour.
Well, you can see quite a lot of the Wakefield players, they're just walking back. It is going to be a big struggle for them. Still plenty of time, though.
Decent run from Henderson. 15 minutes remaining. Obst infield to Sculthorpe. Big collision with Danny Ward. Last tackle. Danny Brough just hoofs it downfield, and that will sail over the dead ball line. Well, Tony Ray with us tonight, and he's in the Sky Sports News studios tomorrow when he will review this weekend's Engage Super League programme, 9:30. And Boots and All Online goes online on the web on Monday evenings, www.skysports.com. Follow the links and find Boots and All. And it's also available on your televisions on Wednesdays on the Sky Anytime service. And Boots and All, the programme, Wednesday at 6, Sky Sports 1. And don't forget, that's the email address. We'd love to hear from you. You going to join us this week, Stevenson? Come on.
Is that an open invitation?
No, of course.
Okay, I'll accept. It's just safety first rugby league football now that's needed. Oh, that's a big error. That was a big hit. Scott Hill's down.
Yes, Scott Hill is down. Rooney has it for Wakefield, and what's more, Wakefield have the penalty because Howell was interfering as Rooney tried to get to his feet.
Time off, got ahead.
And the referee just calls time off here as Scott Hill, who suffered whiplash in the victory at the KC Stadium last week, goes down heavily again. He must have had a very sore head last Sunday, and he's got a very sore head right now.
He just relaxed. Didn't realise he was coming on the blind side. It's something that you can't afford to do, especially in this very hard contact sport called rugby league.
Big
The
hit from Oliver Wilks.
Yep.
He's also damaged his right knee, hasn't he? I don't know whether it was because his foot was... His studs in the ground as he was hitting the impact.
He was just twisting, wasn't he? He turned to try to offload, realised that there was no one there, and then bang. We've had some big hits over the weekend.
And it's a big break here actually for Wakefield. If the clock stays off for a little bit of time, we might, if we're looking at points here, we're talking about the last 10 minutes, we're going to have a really tight ending with this one.
Indeed so.
Important set of 6 that Harlequins face defensively here.
Tell you what, it's a physical game, this. And with 3 ex-players, why did you ever bother, gentlemen?
Well, Tony and I played...
Oh, hang on, Tony, you've just gained about 12 years here.
No. Tony and I played in a hard position, and if I can speak for him as well, mainly it's because we're idiots.
I think you played, Eddie, because you wanted to be alongside your teammates in a sport that you loved. It's exciting when you're out there, and I think the adrenaline hides a lot of the pain whilst you're playing. You feel it probably more watching on TV than you do at the time.
Well, you shudder at times when you're watching, I must say.
It's just
Grips again.
In this day and age, there is no weak link out there. You look at the bodies on these players, they're athletes right the way through.
They are. It's Rooney to Ferris. Another big collision. Howell was leading the way then. Ferris plays the ball to Sam Obst. Here is Danny Sculthorpe. He'll drive it in. It's play on, says the referee. Brough gives it a bit of air and finds Richard Moore out there. Moore on one leg. Gets away from one tackle, gets clattered again. Wants to play on, does so. Ryan Atkins, strong run from him. Good run from him. Just held up short of the line. Last tackle here for Wakefield. Obst to Brough. And here is Rooney. And Wilks, quick hands, and it's the touchline. Oh, actually, I tell you what, it was a forward pass anyway, maybe.
Well, John Wells scooped it up, and he was away. There was no one at home.
I thought Sean Gleeson had kept this in.
No, it was a forward pass
It was
anyway.
already a forward pass.
Yeah, but look at Wells. Said, I'm off. No, you're not, said Mr. Ian Smith.
Harlequins have to work the ball away now from their own line.
It's important that the Wildcats don't give away a silly penalty. They've got to try to force the error.
We've been talking for a long time about Wakefield's injury woes. There is some news for Harlequins fans now. Bill?
Scott Hill straight to the dressing room with that leg injury, and there was a bit of a debate on the sidelines as who would go on in his place, and eventually the nod went to Joe Mabou. Danny Orr was up off his seat willing to go back on, but he of course picked up a knee injury a short time ago, and so doesn't look 100% fit. So Harlequins 1 or 2 problems as well on the injury front, but of course the headline in that respect very much with Wakefield.
Very much so. Here is Randall. Brough gets to him, but Randall offloads. Decent kick. Oh, it's an awful bounce. It's a horrible bounce. Play on. It is Louis McCarthy-Scarborough. And Louis McCarthy-Scarborough. I think he might have won the match for Harlequins here. A speculative kick. It was allowed to bounce. It was a horrible, horrible bounce. It was a horrible bounce for Wakefield. It was a wonderful bounce for LMS, as he's known. And Louis McCarthy-Scarborough. The smile says it all. It looks like it's going to be Quinn's night.
You cannot afford to allow the ball to bounce. In this game of rugby league, you've got to make sure that you attempt to do it. He was caught in between. It was good play, whipped away. And the hero down here in London, McCarthy-Scarborough. You take your chances.
There he is, Louis McCarthy-Scarborough, one of the best young forwards in Super League. Many people tipping him for a place in the England World Cup squad. And Purdon adds the extras. 34-18. It's a cruel game. It really is a cruel game.
Well, it's the second try that Wakefield have conceded from a bomb in this second half. You know, there's been a lot of question marks over Lumicat this guy, but is he a front rower or is he a back row, second row player? I think you saw the speed there, Stephen, when he got the ball. He is clearly capable of playing at the highest level in the back row.
Little doubt about that, Phil. He certainly is an up-and-coming star. Oh, they've got that'll be offside.
He's offside, Rinaldi.
Yep.
It was Howell who knocked the ball down, knocked it forward, and the referee rightly saw that Rinaldi had moved from an offside position to pick the ball up.
Well, it looks pretty impossible now, doesn't it, for Wakefield? It's just under 10 minutes remaining. Maybe 2 quick tries. It's with a sure shot at Brian McDermott. He'll be getting the message down there and saying, listen, come on, use your brains. Don't do anything silly. Don't get too excited.
Oliver Wilkes for Wakefield. Well, the scoreline now looks comprehensive. It has not been that.
Oh, far from it.
Brough on the inside.
And when you've still got Obst out there and Danny Brough, you know they're capable of Wakefield of scoring tries.
There is Obst, there is Brough. Here is Ferris. This is Kevin Henderson, losing the momentum slightly. Surrounded by Harlequins jerseys, though. 20 metres away after 4 tackles. Obst, short ball to Sculthorpe, knocked forward. The referee will put the scrum down.
No advantage to the Quins. The idea was there. It's the type of thing that you've got to try.
Just off the fingertips of Jamie Rooney.
Danny Sculthorpe just tried to flip it.
Who'd be a coach?
Lock him in, Scott, lock him in.
It's a tough job.
Frustrating, isn't it?
It's outside, Jamie.
He's very good tonight, Rob Purden, in this game. It's just
They
a
missed
little
him last
things
year,
he's done.
didn't they?
Very much so. The team's very much a reflection of him, and
He's always solid, Tony, is he? You know you're going to get 100%. There's been some pretty good players out in the Harlequin side tonight, but, especially, I really think that we've had some good play from Henry Paul. I think Henry Paul, Danny Ward has done his bit tonight.
yeah, I just want to pick you up on one point on Purdom. I think he's more than solid. I think because he does the work, people put him in that category of being a good hard worker because he's so tenacious, but he's blessed with speed. He's a natural footballer. He reads his game well. He runs good lines. He's always beats the first man. He's physically a good beast, and he does a terrific job. He's a great choice as a leader. Randall's been good. Henry Paul's been outstanding, and we've heard a lot about him from Brian Mack in the week. I think the big thing with Henry Paul that people probably don't appreciate is what he gives the team Monday to Saturday. He's just a real pro. He wins every sprint. He's the first to train, and he works hard. He encourages. He's enthusiastic. If the coach wants more, he wants more with him. And that's where the value of this bloke has been to the club since he's been here.
A few candidates for man of the match out there, and I think Danny Ward's got a call as well, because I think since, well, he's been out there, Harlequins have gone forward with momentum.
He's been impressive. It's going to be tough for me to select between the two. Still a few minutes remaining. Tried his damnedest. He really is a hard worker, isn't he? This fella on your screen, as well as Danny Brough.
McGilvray driving it in again for Wakefield. I think the game is probably beyond them now, but credit them, they are not turning it in. That's a good run from Sculthorpe, but again the ball comes loose. And it's play on, Harlequins have the ball back.
Despite that, as you look at the Wakefield season, you can see that their forward pack is going to be real hard to handle when they get on the front foot. Richard Moore, Danny Sculthorpe.
Just a lack of concentration there. Thinking that the game is already won. Far from it. It's amazing how players...
That's not a forward pass. This touched
Looks
on the
all right,
near
doesn't
side.
it? Yeah.
Loves the forward pass today.
I'm with you, Phil, on that one.
Is that the third? Or am I doing it injustice? That may be his second, and there was one earlier in the first half.
It's all a matter of opinion, isn't it? Forward passes. Brough tried to slide the kick through. Brough has lost the possession on the first tackle, and here comes Chad Randall.
He's another player in the Quins outfit that's done his job. especially early in that first half when they just needed steadying down. Oh, well, we talk about steadying things down.
It went back by Ryan Atkins, knock on
Take
by
the first knock on.
And it's a knock on by Harlequin, says Ian Smith. It went backwards off Ryan Atkins.
10 metres.
And it went forward from the Harlequins player.
Not the best pass either from the man that we've been praising throughout, Henry Paul.
Time off. Head injury. Time
Coming up
back
to the last 5 minutes of the match. Henderson. Wakefield will be disappointed with the result. They'll be heartbroken with the fact that 3 players have, by the sound of things, picked up very serious injuries here tonight. Will be out for a long time. Brett Ferris. Rooney waits. McGilvraith's the runner. Hard work needed in defence now from Harlequins. Obst. Ferris hangs on. Obst to Rooney. A couple of dummies from Rooney, taking the responsibility himself. That's the last one. Obst again. Ferris. Brett Ferris. Has he got over the line?
Held up.
Held up, last. Hand over
Ian Smith agrees.
Don't look so shocked.
Hold.
You've been at me all day. That's good defence. Full credit to them. Henry Paul involved in yet another tackle. You know, Henry Paul has come up, to my knowledge, I think it's around 29 tackles throughout this game. He has been outstanding, hasn't he?
4 minutes remaining. And the penalty to Harlequins to relieve the pressure. They will be frustrated, Wakefield. As I say, they'll be more concerned about the injuries.
Well, they've been disjointed. You know, John Keir has had to send out the message to change things around. He knew he was going to have a problem with the interchange in the second half.
And a positive for Harlequins, they've been ruthless, haven't they? No charity.
Well, they have late in the game.
Yeah.
It took them a while to get into the swing of things, and we saw for 15 minutes another good run there from Danny Ward.
I think he's been outstanding
Yeah,
tonight.
he certainly has.
He's here to try and get his career back on track. Good ball from Henry Paul, though, to Purdom. Ward, Purdom or Paul, I think you can get even money at the moment on who is the man of the match amongst those 3. Rinaldi. Steve-O is scratching his bonds and just wondering and remembering what's gone on, which is difficult.
What, to scratch my bonds?
No, to
quite
remember.
easy. Ah, yeah, okay.
McClendon. Wide it goes to Purdom. A dab down
Great
the
kick.
line, and that just will wind the clock down even further. OK, you've had all your thoughts. Who's your man of the match?
It was very difficult indeed, but I've gone for Henry Paul.
Henry Paul, then, is the man of the match in memory of the great Mike Gregory. A loose forward, Mike Gregory, and a loose forward tonight wins it. Henry Paul. He picks up the £100 for the benevolent fund and £100 for the charity of his choice and the bottle of champagne.
Having said that, Eddie, I'd have to say that Danny Ward ran him very close, but when a man comes up with 29 tackles in a game, you know he's been influential.
Can I just say one thing to you about this man of the match award? That's the 4th one you've issued, and they're all been forwards.
So what? It's a man that I deem to be the man of the match.
Absolutely, but
And,
people around the country will be saying yet another forward. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's 4 forwards now.
Well, it's the way that I see it.
Knock on.
And that's how it's going to be.
No, it isn't. It's a penalty.
You create me havoc. You realise that, don't you?
No. I'm only stating the facts.
No, you're giving the people out there something to have a go at me.
I don't do that. Oliver Wilkes. Minute and a half remaining. Obst and Wateen. Tony, if you were John Keir, what would you be feeling at this point? You would obviously be concerned about the future for the 3 injuries, but You know, I think it's a much better performance than they put up, particularly in the first half last week against the Rhinos.
Yeah, and even in the first game when they had a victory, I thought their defence was a little bit suspect, and their defence has been a lot better than in that game. But there's a chance for Howell.
There is. Howell, and Wells is there in support with him. And there is the ball to... It's not Wells, is it? Yes, it is. It is John Wells. Purdom. Infield it goes to McClendon. Wide to Ricky Sharif. They're dropping off the tackles now. Ricky Sharif will straighten this up. Bruff got to him, scragged him to the ground by the shirt collar. Oh! And Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook couldn't give the icing on the cake for the Harlequins supporters. Well, Harlequins join a merry band of clubs on 4 points now. Leeds on top, of course, with their 100% record intact. They won't play Super League next week, they play the World Club Challenge. But they will enter that World Club Challenge on top of the table. Gleeson with a little dab over the top, right down the throat of McClendon. Harlequins going to just give their fans something extra to cheer about? Surely not. Take the tackle, which he does. Brett Ferris. Brian McDermott disappointed after the first half, but Harlequins 4 tries in the second 40, albeit against a depleted Wakefield side with 3 men off the field injured, and obviously problems in the weeks ahead for John Keir as far as that is concerned.